many
Yes,
makes a
sir.
quorum?
We must have a minimum of 3 to be a quorum.
So one had an emergency, what about the other 3?
Well, I would have been 1.
Right.
The chairman would have been 2. Group would have probably been 3. I don't know.
Oh, Deshano's not on it yet, is she? Because she's
No,
not on this
she's
one.
on a
Not
different
yet.
board.
She's
She's on
on
the
the-
Board of Trustees on the township.
So you have a
board.
concern, so I would like you to share your concern and
Yeah.
then announce who you are.
My name is Brad Eddy, 1890 South Huron Road.
Just a minute, got it right, you know, I'm slow.
I would also like to present some documents to add to Nancy Finkbeiner's complaint here that I've read and was shared with that may help the zoning administrator and building inspector. So when you copy that other stuff, please copy those and give back. So one of the things that I'd like to, just throw out there is brought many concerns to this new township master plan, and it shows here on what was supposed to happen tonight to be the master plan draft. Many of the changes, I think you recall me being at many of the meetings and,
Yes.
and showing discrepancies in property lines and such, and none of those have been adjusted from the map that I just looked at from another member of the public, and I'm concerned that some of this stuff isn't being addressed. I mean, we've actually talked about junkyard and salvage yard definitions, and it even went out to a community survey. So that would reference my family's property that we've owned since 1963. And so I do want to share with the people who are present here today. I did send an email to the township board members today. The time was 12:45, and this was due to a FOIA I got from Garfield Township in Traverse City. To all Calcallan Township board members, I would like to share with you all the information I received in a FOIA in regards to Patrick Rokas, the chair of the Calcallan Township Planning Commission. This information was obtained from a township to the far north. It seems he uses or used the same work email for personal projects and township business endeavors. Conflicts of interest, you can see for yourself. Maybe, question mark. The business interests he represents are located in our township in the attached FOIA. We need planning members with integrity, not friends and family programs. It seems as though whatever it takes another turn to a member of our local community. The Whatever It Takes master plan was created during a time when much information was being provided and not used. This is a waste of time and money, and it had very little information used to create the changes. Many items still seem unresolved. Change is coming. Sincerely, Brad Eddy. That means something because I won the supervisor election. Change is coming because we need integrity to our citizens. What I have witnessed tonight in Nancy Finkbeiner's complaint is very disturbing, and it seems to go along with the Friends and Family program within our township. When the new board is here, there will be no Friends and Family. It will be all citizens, and the board will work for all of them. Democrat, Republican, Independent, it does not matter. This change is coming, and I do want to make sure that we are law-abiding board and citizens, and we do stuff by the book. Now, I'm very appalled by knowing that she had, since April, come in here 3 to 4 times and has not received even a phone call on her complaint. We're going to change that, number one. Everybody who comes in here with a complaint is going to get a call.
Since this is actually an open forum more so, yeah, that will change. Because I already told Lori we should be buying at least a case of paper every 2 months to be able to send letters out to people. I mean, this is not rocket science. We own a business.
And the phones aren't broke.
You know, you write out a note, you send it to somebody and let them know that you're paying attention and it's being worked on. That has not been the way business has been conducted, and I see that there's a mutual concern by several of the newly elected or re-elected that, you know what, this needs to happen. And I do not have access
And
to
just so,
find your, you know, I should be able to come in here on a computer and put your name in without any reservation and be able to pull up you and be able to then write a communication to you. I don't have that. 4 years into a term, and I do not have the right to do that in this township. And that, to me, is pathetic.
and Charlie, just so you're aware, this brings another widow count up. She is a widow, she explained. She does not have, and
I know that.
I've told people, no more of this bullying, no more of this treating them as if they're targets and easy people to be quiet. We need to care the most about those people. And anybody in this township, I hope people understand, it don't matter who it is. If you have blight in your yard or concerns or need help mowing the grass, we need to be a community that actually finds people that might want to volunteer to help you. Or to even do what you have,
Well, that's
ma'am.
funny, I was gonna ask that.
But what you have, ma'am, you have a support group around you.
Yeah,
And that's
A lot of
magnificent.
people don't have that.
Not a lot of people have that, and I
Right.
went door to door and found that. And I've had neighbors complaining about neighbors, but they didn't realize the neighbor had a stroke and couldn't do stuff in
Right.
their yard. If we're a community, we care about all, and that's what we need back here.
right.
And that's really what needs to happen, and I'm so sorry, and
Thank you.
when I take office, I promise you this board's gonna change
We'll be
and we're gonna
happy.
care,
Right,
so,
thank you.
all right?
Yep, thanks.
Thank you.
And welcome.
Yes, congrats.
Well, that's the thing, like the lack of
And
communication.
your name is?
Lisa Yerrick.
So I do believe that my email could be a cause for this meeting to you all. We have conflict of interest with board members in certain positions,
And that will change.
that will
Well,
change.
so-
Well, if there's conflicts, they need to be told. We don't need to wonder why people are making decisions. It don't matter if it's a property next to a property and it's getting zoned commercial so they can put up cabins, and here you've got a residence that lived there 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, raised a family, and all of a sudden somebody smacks you in the face and throws something through. We need to know why, and we need to work with each other to compromise also. When you have an unbuildable lot, it shouldn't be. I'm just gonna change the zoning on that unbuildable lot.
The
I have
commercial.
we have the same attorneys as Monitor Township. I've been reviewing files in
And that's what
Monitor
you worry
Township.
about, right?
When there's an
Expansion.
unbuildable lot, it don't get built on. Some people in this township had unbuildable lots, they changed the zoning, and then we changed the zoning to make stuff buildable. We can't do that
I don't
without,
understand. I did not vote yes on certain things.
No,
And
but what I'm
Yes.
saying is we need
And,
integrity in these positions.
Yes.
And including
Yes.
this planning commission, when you know this planning commission
Well-
should have been here tonight,
Here's the
That kind of-
thing.
You'd have thought it'd get to an
Okay.
election.
It's a
that
public
So-
meeting,
That's
they
why
have
we
to
came.
notify the public, and they didn't.
So,
they keep
I'm
putting
Charlie,
it off. So they don't
and
do it.
I believe in ethics. Every time I mention the word ethics, I think some people get bumps up and down their spine, and you've seen that in meetings, because we need an ethics ordinance. Now, why do we need that? We need that because it's unethical that you have not been communicated
Right.
to.
I
Yes,
That
never
is
looked at it like that, but
unethical.
right, I agree.
Okay, now when it comes to the other, I did ask a question. I was kind of ridiculed for asking a question about a map, and I'm sure if Lisa felt inclined, she could find that day, because I was ridiculed stating, well, you received that. Yeah, but what I remembered was a reduction in the business opportunity zone. It was by Linwood Road, and for whatever the reason, because how the sewer line on Linwood Road was, that sewer line meant that along Fraser to the freeway became very usable for an industrial development, because there's infrastructure there for gas, water, and sewer, and electric. It's all right there. So that's perfect, and it's empty. But then I don't fully agree with how large this appears.
I thought there was a motion to go back to that other map that you were
I
referring
heard
to.
Candace Page speak of the
Candace spoke
acreages.
about it, and that's why I mentioned Candace, because, and I'm not trying to insult anybody, because someone's gonna watch this and they'll say you're using somebody's name, but she brought that up, and it was to be reduced down, and I thought it was reduced down smaller than what it is.
Correct.
But just because I thought that doesn't mean that's what actually happened. And right now, to put it real plainly with everybody here, we haven't had meetings because we don't have a planner. Spicer does not work for us.
Why?
When I asked for, I'll tell you why. When I asked for the FOIA for 2015, an explanation of why, if I get a bill, having owned corporations and owning a business and in ministry, you give me a bill, you give me the supporting documents. We asked for that, and when our planner left the meeting that night, she quit. She quit. So she was gone, then Mark was helping us out. Mark was an asset, he really was. He was very helpful in the
Wasn't.
meetings, and he has been helpful. But then I've been told that the moment the elections were over, certain organizations were not going to affiliate with us anymore, which if that's their feelings, then
With
You know what?
Or
There's-
with Spicers.
there's plenty of other organizations. You know, it's a difficult, because there's shortages in our state, okay, for numerous reasons. We have shortages.
Well, you can't conduct business if you don't have a meeting. I've watched some of the YouTubes of the meetings, and I saw one in particular where I think it was you brought up something, and the supervisor didn't like it and adjourned the meeting. It's like, because he didn't want to discuss it.
Correct.
I played that over and over again because I thought, oh my gosh, you don't do that, hello.
Well, that's where we talk about ethics.
Yes, and
This is important, and we, you know,
The
there's
supervisor
a
makes
statement
it.
on the wall that's not worth toilet paper. It's not worth it because of the fact that if you don't live by it, what good is it?
That's what I told Nancy. These are the zoning ordinances. If they're not gonna go by them, your township stinks because they're not following it.
Yeah.
right.
Oh, no. I know we have a few issues. Who's got an alarm going off? You gotta take your medicine?
No,
it's out.
It's
out now.
I don't know.
Well, we
They took
don't.
our
Okay,
Xanax
fine.
before we got here.
Okay. So I had asked for information, and I never received it. And that is just why, and I actually brought in this folder, because,
Well, you actually had, correct me if I'm wrong, $1,000 to get that information, to pay Spicer to get your information.
and I called Spicer and
Freedom of information, I read that. You never got it.
I
And the
requested,
board
the only thing I
approved.
received was a definition, which they said we never had, a definition of a junkyard and a definition of salvage yard.
It's already in your zoning.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Nope.
Look
No,
under
it's not.
definitions. I just read it.
No, it's not. It's,
Salvage.
it was
I'm sure
never,
it's in there.
the official definition was never added to the record, and that's why we pretty much, from
Where
my
did I
end.
read it then? Well, to begin with,
Other towns.
your zoning ordinances isn't even called Holland. It's got
You know,
another name at the top.
Richmond or Richmond.
Richmond, yeah, or whatever.
Somebody didn't pay attention when they were posting, and they posted Richmond's things on our
So-
page.
I wondered, is that Collins or is that Richmond's?
Well,
Wasn't sure.
that way, the people of Richmond can use us, and we can use them, we save
Okay.
money.
I gotta look that up.
We're gonna bill you, no, that's Richmond.
That's not right.
Yeah, so,
Man,
So
I tell you
what are
what, I worked in
Or
HR,
junkyard?
and if I would have pulled some of this stuff,
Don't
not
be
having
You'd
the
be fired.
proper paperwork,
fired.
having the wrong name,
And I
thought I'd be fired.
Not following the
Yeah.
law.
Mhm.
well, you know, and this is, I reiterate, this is nothing more than
Okay.
a workshop question and answer of questions you would have asked, or you would have shared during the open
Yes,
part
I
of a
would have shared
meeting.
this.
And these questions will get shared back over, you know, but
Well-
people are getting answers, because there was another gentleman that wanted answers. like I did. I wanted answers about junk ordinances.
Right.
And I finally received them last week.
Did you pay your $1,000?
I didn't have to.
Oh,
Because
okay.
somebody else
Just
requested
checking.
them and it was given. But this actually made it really crystal clear what, I mean, I don't know, I was told 2 months ago that I was to put trash assessments together, and I didn't even have the right ordinance, because all I had was 63 and 70, and then I received this last week. How do you put an ordinance against somebody if you don't even know what the letter of the law is? And, you know, I probably will upset somebody, but right now, nobody's talking to me anyway, so what's the big deal?
We talked to you, Charlie.
And in that ordinance, is it legal that you just got, is it legal to assess commercial and industrial properties?
No.
Which the township has,
We are, and it's not permissible.
yeah.
But we do it out of let's be a good neighbor, but the legitimacy is when you have an ordinance is law. And the actual ordinance says no. And then it talks about residential units. By person or groups or persons comprising not more than 2 families, that's a residential unit, but they assessed trash on a family on Cottage Grove Road where mom and son are on the same property. That's a residential unit. But we are charging them for 2 units.
But is it correct that you guys voted to reimburse me and my wife because we were charged on industrial property for trash assessments that we never even used? Because
2 months ago or 3 months ago?
What's the trash assessment?
$400 a year.
I mean, what is it?
For your
Wait a
trash
minute.
cans.
It's
Ours
109.
is through the township, so I don't.
Right, that's it. It's
On
not,
your tax
we never
records,
even
on your
trash cans.
your
it's
winter
$194
taxes.
per resident.
I never knew I paid for it.
Yeah, it's
Why
on your,
wouldn't, why would I know?
It's in our taxes though, right?
Yeah.
Is it in Capallen?
yeah.
It's a special assessment on your taxes,
Yeah.
it's on the winter.
Line item.
Because you have commercial.
Yeah.
And his isn't the only one.
They voted
In the
to give us
Metropolitan
something.
Water District.
Oh,
Why were there,
yeah.
why were like
They
5
don't-
things on the ballot that pertain to
Yeah.
that?
I have no
Holy
information about Linwood Metro Water. Linwood Metro Water is its own division, and the only
I need
way
to come to
to
meetings.
deal with Linwood Metro
I think
Water
you need a
is
job.
everybody that's a part of Linwood
I like
Metro
that
Water. If
stuff.
you had a question,
I don't know
you
it.
gotta ask Metro.
Well,
I
we
don't
might
know
have
nothing about
a
it.
need for,
I
office.
already
believe
retired
I
twice.
seen,
can't retire a third time.
Danny Boudry's name.
This is
I
I
seen
saw
it.
Vicky's over
Too
there.
busy trying to
You
help
gotta
your
get a hold of
friends.
them guys and you gotta ask questions. But they are their own little metropolitan water district. I believe I was told they had 380 homes because I made a motion to connect the water
Our water's
that
separate.
flows
The
through
bank
our
and
pipe on
the
Labordy Road to
Right.
them.
Yeah.
And so.
Now that we don't have that water tower anymore, why do we need them anymore?
It's, you guys.
We're buying filtered water.
You actually need to have a second tap, I believe I was told, but you have to truly pay attention close.
I didn't have time to read on that ballot the other day. There was like 5 items that were literally.
I don't think anybody even knew they were there.
No, not in the back page.
I see a hand in the back row.
I know, I don't want to drag this out. However, as a person pulling into this parking lot, you need to do something about that parking lot, number one. Number two, there's no signage as to where the meetings are until I pulled around into the handicap and saw, oh, township offices. Just saying.
Well,
While I'm on a roll,
if you're on a roll, you never
Point
know.
taken.
I probably
You
won't
know.
come back here anymore because I'm so
She's like that in our
disgusted for my friend.
Well,
I'm being
you know,
facetious, sorry.
That's why we started coming, because we're so disgusted. So
You
we
got-
gotta listen.
people have to show up. People have to
Yeah.
share what their concerns are. And that way, and then when they're sharing their concerns, the number one problem is this.
It's okay.
If they fall on deaf ears, that's why elections have consequences. And we just learned that.
Yeah.
And you know what? We were talking about numerous things over the last few months, you know. We had a town hall about fixing our hall.
Yeah.
And why would we have people stand out in the hallway when we have a building right there that we pay for?
Right.
And that's only a person's preference. That has nothing to do with an inability to use that building. That building is 100% unlock the door, usable. So, I will share your concerns, and hopefully I can get you some answers. And in reference to the map, I will ask for clarification. Just a minute, I gotta write that down. Clarification on the business opportunity zone.
Well, and then,
So nobody has questions anymore. We'll get absolute, I will say I want that and that only. I don't want any of the rest of it. Find exactly what that is.
I mean,
That
during
for you.
during this time, Trustee Campbell, we were working on transient housing, junkyard definitions, salvage yard definitions, and I believe it was the Planning Commission chair who dropped the salvage and junkyard definitions off, and I think that that was part of a master plan because it was addressed in the master plan timing, and also, wasn't it addressed in the survey?
Yep.
Yes, it was.
So you guys put a survey out without even having definitions in your ordinance, is that correct?
Sir, I did not vote on that, sir.
I'm just saying,
Those-
is that
there were-
is
let
that
me-
correct that a citizen could not see those definitions in a zoning ordinance book? Is that correct?
I have it right here.
You do not have,
That's not ours, that's Richmond's. or
That's what I was
Rich-
gonna look though.
Yeah.
Richmond, that's
Um,
not in there.
So the
in
big
there.
question
From-
about the zoning ordinance, because I'm the one that made a request to see those, and when we, let me put my brain together so I say the right thing. So we put together to do a survey, and it was stated, the questions of the survey would be identical to the original survey that was done the last time this was done. So,
2016.
Yep.
survey then was sent out with 2 additional questions, which could be construed, point blank period, as very misleading. Because the way I had numerous people ask me is, are we looking at opening more junkyards? No, that's not the question. Then why are those questions on there? Those questions are there because one individual decided to put them there. And nobody else had any input on that. One individual who is, when we sat at this table, equal to the rest of us, but usurped
Oh, look now.
authority that is not his authority, and then you paid for it. You
Oh,
paid
right.
for the additional questions on that survey, and for the people that tabulated it. And I'm not trying to cook nobody, and I'm not calling nobody out, I'm just being point blank period. We said, this board, at the planning commission meeting, we wanted the identical survey done. And you can go back on whatever that page is on Facebook, and you can look it up, and you will hear when I made the conversation in reference to it. But then when it actually happened, it doesn't match my words, and it didn't match the motion.
And it happened a lot later than what it was supposed to.
well, you guys all as a board voted for the same questions, not just the planning commission, the township trustees.
Both boards.
Both boards.
The planning commission board voted unanimous, I believe, and so did the board of trustees.
But the current supervisor and the township's attorney
He
decided to
usurped
add 2
authority
questions.
that wasn't his to walk under.
Was there a motion?
No.
Yeah, no, the
Not
motion,
to add those 2
No.
questions.
No,
not
no,
to
but there
add.
was a motion to approve the
there was a
original question.
motion for the original questions.
Oh, that's derelict of duties.
Well,
Can we fire them? Oh, we already,
elections have consequences.
we already fired them.
So you're right, it's junkyard that's in here. not salvage, but you're a junkyard.
So, I apologize if anybody was inconvenienced.
Well, thank you for showing up.
Yeah, it was nice anyway.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
And
Guess what?
Kelly,
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Good luck.
come here,
I
man. You want to see this?
wish you the
So do
best
you.
of luck.
Do you want
And
these?
no,
Take that.
we appreciate
Yeah.
you listening
That's something
to us.
I'm looking
Yeah,
at
I think
us
somebody's
trying to
listening.
do.
Oh,
He
yeah.
certainly listens to us all
You
the
set
time.
that right
He
here, I'll
just-
make a, here, Kelly, here's a copy, you can read it at home.
Okay, I can take this with me?
Because
Yeah, good luck.
Okay.
share with the board tonight. Because how can we open something?
What
we
is
don't
that
even
thing
have an
they
ordinance
master
about?
thing?
Stick together.
It sounds nice.